Look at him. No announcement, no entourage, no noise. Just a dog walking into a yard full of animals twice his size. And every single one of them moves. Not because they're scared of what he'll do, but because they know who he is. This is King Charles. Real name Changmao, which means long hair in Chinese. Born 2021. Brought to a shelter in Hebei, China at just 3 months old after his owner died in an accident. He didn't arrive as a king. He arrived as a puppy, alone, in a yard full of strangers who didn't care about his story. And for a while, nobody noticed him. Nobody feared him. Nobody followed him. He was just there. But something was happening underneath the surface that nobody could see yet. Because while the loud dogs were fighting for scraps of attention, KC was watching, learning, understanding the system he'd been thrown into. And then came Big Head, the former alpha, the enforcer, the dog that everyone feared and nobody challenged. Except KC did. 8 months after arriving at that shelter, this quiet, unassuming, long-haired dog walked up to the biggest problem in the yard and ended it. Big Head lost 2 teeth that day, and King Charles got a crown he never asked for. Here's what the viral clips don't show you. After KC became alpha, the fights didn't stop. The chaos didn't disappear. The problems didn't just bow down and walk away because a new king was in charge. New dogs kept arriving. Old alliances kept shifting. Flower Dog kept causing chaos. Rocky kept testing boundaries. The pack kept growing. And with every new member, a new problem walked through that gate. And KC handled every single one of them. Alone. See, here's the thing about leadership that nobody puts on a motivational poster. The higher you rise, the fewer people can actually stand where you're standing. Casey can't call a meeting, can't delegate, can't clock out at 5 p.m. and let someone else deal with it. Every morning he wakes up, it's still his yard, still his pack, still his responsibility. The crown doesn't take days off, and neither does he. I want to ask you something, and I need you to actually sit with this. How many of you are carrying something right now that nobody around you fully understands? A business, a family, a team, a relationship, a dream that's taking longer than you expected. And the people closest to you, they see the result of your leadership. They benefit from it. They depend on it. But they don't feel the weight of it. They don't see the 3 a.m. version of you. The version that questions everything, that runs through every scenario, that lies awake wondering if the decisions you made today were the right ones. They just see Casey walking calmly through the yard. They don't see what it cost him to stay calm. And here's where it gets uncomfortable, because I'm not just talking about Casey anymore. Some of you have been waiting for someone to come alongside you and say, I see what you're carrying. I see what this costs you. And I see you doing it anyway. You've been waiting for that acknowledgement. And it hasn't come. And that silence has slowly started to feel like proof that what you're doing doesn't matter. But watch Casey again. Does he look like he's waiting for applause? Does he stop patrolling because nobody thanked him? Does he abandon his post because the pack doesn't fully understand the weight he carries? He doesn't. And deep down, neither do you. Because that's not why you started. I'm not going to tell you it gets easier. That would be a lie, and you've heard enough of those. Leadership doesn't get lighter. You just get stronger. And the loneliness? It doesn't fully go away either. But here's what I've learned from watching this dog. The loneliness of leadership isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's a sign that you've risen to a place where very few people can follow. And that place, as uncomfortable as it is exactly where you're supposed to be. Casey doesn't have a mentor in that yard, doesn't have a coach, doesn't have a support group for alpha dogs processing their feelings. He just has the work, the yard, the pack, and the quiet daily decision to show up anyway. And somehow, that's enough. Not because the weight disappeared, but because he decided the weight was worth it. The question isn't whether your load is heavy. It is. We know it is. The question is, do you still believe the people you're carrying it for are worth the weight? Casey does. Every single day. Nobody told King Charles that leading a pack of 100 dogs was going to be lonely. Nobody warned him that the crown comes without a manual, without a cosigner, and without a single day off. But he carries it anyway. Quietly. Consistently. Without applause. Maybe the loneliest job in the world is also the most important one. Keep carrying it, Pawble fam. If this hits something in you today, drop a crown in the comments. Tell me what you're carrying right now, because this community sees you. Subscribe to Pawble, because KC's story is far from over. And honestly, neither is yours.
它跟受胖没关系啊，它的速度反应能力很强。